Hvala gospodinu Vlahoviću. Mastercard je od 2016. godine partner Kopaonik Biznis foruma, najznačajnijeg konferencijskog događaja u našoj zemlji i regionu. I prvi trogodišnji ugovor je potpisan 2016. godine, a na obostrano zadovoljstvo je produžen do 2021. godine. Gospodin Artur Turemka, direktor Mastercarda za Balkan, je redovan učesnik foruma i verujem da ga svi znamo. Stoga pozivam gospodina Artura Turemku da nam se obrati. On je, kao što sam rekla, direktor Mastercarda za Balkan. Izvolite.
Dobar dan, good morning, Madam Prime Minister, dear ministers, excellencies, dear partners, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Mastercard, I have to tell you that it's a great pleasure to welcome you on a 26th Kopaonik Business Forum in which we are partnering up for the fourth time. It's our privilege, it's our honor and pleasure to partner up, bringing the value, bringing the content, not just showing the logo. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to wish you definitely productive, constructing, fruitful, interesting conversation with the outcome to move forward in the spirit of today's topic of the conference, which is 10 years after Great Recession, but at the same time imperative for the robust growth in the future. You know, we will hear today and tomorrow and during the conference numerous experts and people who are professionals in their domains, in their fields, and we'll be talking about how to really move forward and how to ensure the robust growth in Serbia. What I want to share with you are just a couple of reflections from the experience that we as Mastercard are having, and also I would like to share with you a couple of experiences related to my personal story while being and working here in Serbia for more than 6 years. You know, my time, particularly in Serbia, has been teaching me a lot of different things. You know, when I came here for the first time more than 6 years ago, my friends took me for the sightseeing and showed me, you know, what Roštilj means, what is Rakia about. They taught me that I should never answer the question, do you prefer Zvezda or Partizan? Definitely not. And I learned a lot on this. What I learned definitely is something that Serbia is the country of extraordinary people. Serbia is the country of big potential, that it's not always untapped. And I have a pleasure to speak to the business elite today that is sitting here in this room. As some of you know, I myself come from Poland, and Poland has a lot in common with Serbia in terms of our attitude to many different things, in our experience in economy and history. You know, Poland, similar to Serbia, stepped away years ago from long communist background into the world of democracy and also unlimited possibilities and modern technologies. You know, if I'm saying about the reflections, if I'm saying about the principle that should ensure the robust growth in the future, these are not just numbers, these are the values, these are the principles that if they are followed properly, can really ensure the robust growth in the future. These are the things like trust, these are the things like open market and fair competition, these are the things like focus on innovations and modern technologies, and these are the things like partnerships. These are very important, essential elements to ensure robust growth in the future. You know, if you ask Poles today, those who remember the moments from early 90s, what really brought them from X time to the modern open market economy, they will say that it was the trust. And it was the trust in many different things. Definitely it was the trust in technocrats and professionals who pursue and went through these drastic, tough, but successful reforms, like Professor Leszek Balcerowicz, for instance. It was the trust in their own entrepreneurial capabilities, but it was also the trust in the cooperation with international communities, with the other countries, and with international businesses. So trust is something that should be put in the center of our objectives. Trust is something that should be put in the heart of our thinking to ensure robust growth in the spirit of this conference. And absolutely, the Serbian market is on the way to achieve all of these milestones. The pace of economic reform has been picking up in recent years, and Serbia is achieving economic stability and GDP growth. You know, after 10 years of the Great Recession, we can argue what was the reason for that moment in September 2018. We all know that it was not financial economic crisis. Actually it was, but it was the outcome of the lack of the trust between the people and between the businesses. So here is the moment to really ask the very fundamental question to ourselves. Do we trust our businesses? Do we trust our peace? Do we trust our market to be really open, flexible, supportive enough when the tough moment is coming? These are the very fundamental questions to answer to ensure the robust growth in the future. Another element under market is functioned properly is a competitiveness. You know, competitiveness is something that brings innovation. Competition is what makes us and is obliging us to think out of the box to create the sophisticated products and solutions that are really competitive, that are really meeting consumer demands by default. Competition is an essential rule to ensure the robust growth. Of course, the best products, the best solutions are not usually cheap. But in business, we all know, and all business leaders know very well, that nothing is for free in business. And even though someone can tell that, you know, this is free of charge, it's never free of charge, because it's always happening with the consequence that someone, at the end of the day, has to pay for this. So competition is extremely essential rule, pillar for future economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are facing big transformational shift to a more digital world and more connected citizens who are at the same time connected consumers. You know, 20 years ago, such things like retina scan or fingerprint had been appearing in science fiction movies, and today we all have it in your smartphones. You know, you are just a second away to buy something. You are just a second away to order a loan or mortgage. It's doable. And modern technologies are really going on, and all who are focusing on these things will be definitely benefiting, and the whole economy will be benefiting because of modern technologies. But there is one aspect of focus on modern technologies. And a company like us, for instance, is taking huge responsibility that there is a big field of safety and security behind of modern technologies. Because in the end of the day, we all are meeting consumer demands, but we are taking huge responsibility that the framework of modern technologies stays safe and stays secure. You know, and if businesses are off the grid, the business is not visible to the world, and this, even worse, and the world is not visible to this business. And you know, if you are not online, you are not visible to potential consumers. And from our domain, if you are only using cash, you are not efficient enough. Cash is bad. Today, the trade moved out of very traditional way how people are doing the business. You know, it's all about very fast changing information and ideas, and this is how the trade looks today. Having an open market and giving the opportunity to connect consumers, businesses, corporates to the global digital ecosystem is something that is a great opportunity for Serbia. They can bridge and create more and more developments. Globalization is enabling such a thing, but at the same time, it requires to follow very important rule. You know, countries that benefited from openness and transparencies are the countries who are also benefiting from the willingness to play by the rule. This is a very important aspect of this economic growth pillar. In my understanding, in our understanding, Serbia's continued commitment to open markets will be definitely the imperative for the robust growth. Many different industries can participate in their norm, in their rules, but if they are the rules with the same industries who are different, that's not definitely helpful. Business, even though the times are very uncertain and unpredictable, at the end of the day, and business leaders can agree with me, the business speak the language of transparency and predictability at the end of the day. We as MasterCard have experience in operating in more than 210 countries around the world. And our experience particularly showed that the time to be in isolation that the time of being alone and doing the business alone is over. Therefore, there are so many partnerships, therefore, there are so many alliances and synergies of resources that are creating this added value to the business and to the consumers and to the societies. This is very important. So I want to highlight that today there are too many problems in the world. The time of single players is out. And therefore, we need this synergy. We are repeating this very often, Mastercard, that we need this synergy of private and public sectors. So there are numerous of very good examples that it brings always the very good value to the future. At the end, I would like to take your attention on a very traditional Serbian symbol, which is šljiva. And in the past, you know definitely better than me, that very good domaćin has been assessed on how many plum trees are under his field. And the process to grow the plum is definitely not easy. It requires hard work, it requires persistence, it requires patience, but at the end of the day, it's a very rewarding process. And I love very much, and that's what I learned in Serbia, this word inat, that cannot be translated in English, that when it's applied, you know, this plum tree can grow despite of different difficulties, circumstances, and this is something that I would like to wish you to grow the great plum. You know, knowing all of these things that I said is good. These are basic things, we could say. And you know, we can say that if we know it, we are genius. But being genius is not enough. We have to be brave enough to apply all of these things here, now, and today. Thank you very much.